Hello everyone, I'm Danielle from empoweredreadings.com. I hope you guys are doing good today. Today's pick a card reading is going to be about your finances. And since we're getting slowly closer and closer to the holiday times, I feel like we all start thinking more and more about them. So here we go. Alright, so if you have done a pick a card reading before and you know how to pick a card, go ahead and go in the description box below and go to the pile selection. If you don't know how to pick a card, I'm going to give you a little explanation right now. Right, so I like to get everyone to always do 4 deep breaths. It helps ground us and center us back into our bodies. It helps us resonate more with the reading, and it also helps us connect our intuition better so we can pick the pile that's actually going to have the messages for us, and that's why I do that. Okay, so when we breathe in air, we're going to breathe in from picturing light above our heads and breathing it down through our nose all the way into our core. You just hold it a second there, and then you slowly let it release out your mouth. And I like to do it 4 times just because the first time feels a bit awkward, and by the 4th time usually we're actually breathing it in a better circular motion. Okay, and after you've done that, you're just going to take a look at all these piles and see if one of them catches your eye. It could be the crystals, it could be something about that deck. It's just catching your eye more than the other ones. You can also look at the description box times for each pile. Sometimes there's a number there that just pops out to you right away. You can also do it that way. Honestly, you can't really choose the wrong way to choose one. Your instinct, your intuition should just take over, and don't question it, just go with that one. Sometimes people do pick more than one pile. That's totally fine. I usually try to keep it at no more than 2, because after that it's a lot of information. All right, that's it. That's how you do it. Okay, so I'll give you time now to take your 4 deep breaths, and I'll see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile 1. You guys chose this Merlinite stone, and I always really like this one because most Merlinite that I've seen only has white and black and kind of gray variations in it, and this one had a ton of green in it, which I thought would be really good for healing and shifting blocks. Okay, so let's get into your card. There is an interesting theme going on here. What I find so amazing about doing card readings all the time is this. You guys got decks or cards from decks that say abundance, but I literally pulled from cards that had nothing to do specifically with finances. So I always just think that's really cool. All right, one of the main things that I'm picking up right away is there's this balance and acceptance of the shadow side, the yin and the yang within. I having a hard time seeing if it's that you guys don't want to see it, or I think you might know it's there, but what we're told a lot in our society is that we should hide that side of ourselves. Like if there's something we don't like, we should bury it and not acknowledge it, don't draw attention to it, put it in a little box and hope it stays there. And every time we see it creep out, we are just horrified. And if you're wondering what that has to do with finances, I will get there in a second. It's saying if you don't fully accept yourself, you're not going to be fully connected in yourself and in the healthy forms of all those energies. Like I'm seeing, it's almost like you don't like the shadow side of the masculine energy within you, and I don't think you like the shadow side of the feminine energy that is within you. And they both act out in different ways. But in the end, no one in the world can exist without a shadow side, or a like inner child wounding, or the masculine or feminine wounding. It's just not possible as a human to live a life on this planet without sustaining some kind of injury to either one. But the crazy thing is that when we suppress it and we don't give it space or give it time to be acknowledged or heard or looked at, it starts to pop up more in the unhealthy way, versus when we just acknowledge it, accept it as part of ourselves. It actually pops up less, like we're less triggered. It's really funny how that works, but it makes sense. It's what I'm realizing more and more through doing these card readings, is that it's so important to everyone and everything on this planet to be acknowledged and heard. And that's probably one of the biggest injuries we can do to anyone, is to not even like say hi to someone when they walk past us, or pretend they don't even exist. So I think like this whole new culture of ghosting is just so horrible for us, because it's literally triggering us at our deepest levels, where we don't feel even important enough to be acknowledged as an existing human being. So there is a need for that. And I think once you accept that there is this duality within you, there's this light and this dark, and you start to work with that energy, this is how all the finances are going to start coming in more. I feel like if you're not your whole self, the universe is having a hard time spotting you, like to bring you abundance. Let's see if I can clarify that a little bit more here. If we are not whole within ourselves, if we do not acknowledge ourselves, there is like aspects of the feminine that help us be open to receiving, and that's really big. In this reading here, I can see that there's definitely a little bit of a block there in receiving abundance or support from the universe, or in general, I think, even in relationships. Doesn't mean partnerships specifically, just in friendships, co-workers, client to employer, or client to, I can't remember the word for that, but just all those dynamics, I do think will all be affected by this. And so you're being asked to not be afraid and to look deeper, to see because I feel like you guys do have that awareness, and you are so ashamed of this aspects of you that you're just like ignoring it, but you're fully aware that it's there. And they're saying to just breathe, ground yourself, and look at it, hold space for it. Be like, I see you, you are part of me, I am you, you are me, and we all come from the same source. It might sound very strange, but it almost need to treat it like this other human who's been wounded, that needs some healing words and some acceptance. And I really think that's gonna really shift the energies for you guys being able to have the universe help you bring in abundance in finances and support with money. And what I realized is, if you don't have the support of the universe, if you to receive and bring you in the stuff, it's much harder. Like, everyone who's very financially well off seems to have successfully figured out how to be in a healthy relationship with bringing in and receiving that abundance from the universe. And that all might sound kind of heavy, what I've just said, but if you didn't catch this, it says in the near future. I'm seeing tons shower of abundance mindset. I am seeing that shifting this is gonna bring it in very quickly for you guys. Just realizing that you haven't fully been open to receiving and in harmony and in balance with yourself is gonna change so much for you guys. So communicate clearly. I honestly think there's actually right now with how things are internally, with not feeling comfortable with the duality of yourselves, that it's created a block temporarily around what you're trying to manifest and it communicate reaching the universe, because I almost feel like it's being a bit of a mixed message where you're trying to say something, but because you're not fully connected to all these parts of you, it's almost creating a weird worthiness block, I would think. I don't know if that's going to be the exact block for everyone, but there's definitely saying for sure anyone who picked this pile, the block is that whatever you're trying to manifest in or ask for your life, for your finances to turn into, it is not being clearly heard by the universe so it can bring it in. But everything here is saying they want to bring it in, and these are, I would say more specifically, the angels that are really wanting to help you guys with bringing that in, that abundance in. Because as I usually say in these readings, I've never pulled a card for someone and had the universe say, this is the one person who's not deserving of it. It's always like, yes, yes, please listen to this card reading. We have all this advice we want to give you because we want you to have everything you possibly want to experience in this lifetime to be brought to you. So if you're like, I want abundance, I want to know what it feels like to be financially stable and not worry about money, the angels are like, all right, don't be a somebody. Let's get you there. But you do have to do some of the worthiness work, get rid of some of those limiting beliefs and acceptance of yourself. Because if you don't accept yourself, that must mean on some level you don't think you're worthy or you don't think you're good enough. Some kind of block around that. And if you don't think you're worthy and you're trying to say, I deserve abundance, you can see how it doesn't really align well. There's like a confusing energy there, and the universe really doesn't like confusing energies because it will try to bring it in, and then it's like, oh no, they don't want that. Okay, they want this. So they're not trying to create hardships for you, but the universe is really just trying to give you whatever you're asking for. And that's also why they say you have to be careful with the words you use in your head about yourself, the words you say out loud. You know how sometimes we just joke and say, haha, yeah, like that's never gonna happen for me. The universe hears that and it's like, oh, okay, they don't want this. All right, backtrack. We gotta give them what they want. We've gotta shift it back this other way. So it's kind of this funny thing of ping pong that we can play a lot of times. So if that's actually something you notice, someone says something to you or a compliment or says like, oh, you're gonna do really good at this job or you're gonna do really well, and you kind of like go, but this is happening. You're kind of throwing it back at them, and the universe is like, oh, this we've got the wrong message. They've been wanting this not to work out. They want the lessons this way, or they don't want abundance. They want to struggle. I hope I'm making sense, because they're just really trying to always change the frequency so it matches what you're saying. And that's why it's so important to, I think it even said, communicate clearly. And I think it just means to the universe, internally, externally, about what you want. And that's going to help them be more consistent with what they're bringing in. And just try your best to make sure that you are accepting it. Like if someone says something positive about your finances or what's coming in, you say, thank you, I know, I'm so excited, or I am excited, I'm so grateful for it as well. Like try to, if you can't even say that, just say thank you, and that at least is still saying, yes, I want this, versus the yes, thank you, but, where it's like contradicting all that. And that's like adding to that confusing frequency message that the universe is trying to be like, okay, wait, are we switching again? I don't know. Okay, let's see, what else did I want to say about this? For the angels and them wanting to work with you, this is a message I get a lot, because we as humans forget we can just ask for help. We have to ask because the angels can't bypass your free will. They can really want this for you. They can try to give you lots of signs by showing you animals and numbers, saying they're there, they're supporting you, ask for their help. But until you actually say, please help me with this, or I give you permission to help me with this, give me guidance on this, they can't step in because they don't want to take away your free will or your divine right to learn lessons, whether you want to learn it the hard way or the easy way. They're not here to decide that for you. So it's kind of saying, here, all we can do is give you signs, and if you want the help, we are here and we're so excited to give you that help. And so here it says, shower of abundance. To heal your financial situation, first give us your worries concerning money. We will guide you in order to show you how to create and accept abundance. As we work together, your financial situation will heal as fast as you'll allow. So that's really just saying, if you can, ask the angels to please help you with your financial situation and allowing more abundance to come into your life. And at the same time, ask them if they can please take away the fear and the blocks you have around money. It isn't the only thing you have to do. You do have to accept and look at yourself and kind of ask yourself, where did this belief come from that is kind of holding you back? But you don't have to do it by yourself. This is where they're saying, like, will help you take away some of that block so that it's not so intimidating to go in and look at that. So I would actually, my first step advice, if you guys are resonating with this, would be to ask the angels to take away your fear and your blocks around money and receiving help and worthiness around being abundant or deserving of abundance, and then ask them to help you with your financial situation and help you bring in this financial success as fast as they can allow, or as fast as they can possibly help you with. And then I would look at acknowledging all this. So I would kind of do it like that step, same day, right after, being just going in and reflecting about where this block came from. And you know, for some people where that's really intimidating, this is where I know I've mentioned this a few times, so I'm sorry if it's getting annoying, but release writing is just so eye-opening. It's almost like how, if you've ever noticed, if you cry at the end of it, where your mind was just like fog, you felt gross, at the end of it, you have this mental clarity that you didn't have before. Release writing is really good for that as well. So if you have a block around tuning into your emotions, just keep writing until you can see some kind of pattern, recognition that's come from it. Like after you've done it, you can just, usually you'll get some clarity like, oh, I don't feel worthy. Like, even having that as a realization is so powerful, because I can say this in a reading, but until you feel it is true for yourself, they're just words, just more words in the universe. And I always feel like it's so important for a person to feel their own truth, not just be told it. It's not as empowering, it's not as powerful, it doesn't feel as clear. And I just think it's so important to not just listen to other people and what they say is your truth, because not everyone's always going to be right about that, and you've got to make sure it resonates with you. And I am just giving off like some common belief systems that I see a lot about receiving blocks. For you, could be slightly different, might have like a core similarity, but sometimes knowing the exact precise belief is even more important. And even knowing the specific moment where it all started is so much more powerful, because it just clicks this light bulb on in our head and we're like, wow, hearing those one words as a child, or that as like a teenager or a young adult, changed my life, because I believed what they said to me at such a deep level. Those are the kind of limiting beliefs that release writing or meditation, or if you cry or listen to a podcast about maybe like inner child work, can help you bring in for yourself. So that being said, if you guys are open, if this is an inner child block, I do always really like to recommend Christine Hassler's podcast. She has like 700 episodes. So if one doesn't click with you, just scroll. Keep scrolling through. She is one of the best people at wording and explaining why certain blocks come up and what it looks like. She's very good with her language, where a lot of times people don't explain things, I find, in a common enough language for anyone to understand. They just try to use big words, and it's not that they don't know what they mean, but they forget that a lot of us don't resonate with those kinds of words. So it was a bit of a rant. Abundance mindset, I want to talk about this. It says, if you think of your abundance as something that happens in the future, then it will always be one day away from you. See, feel, think, and speak of abundance as something you already have in the present moment. That is what you will experience. So this actually makes me think about how some people, when they like to do manifestation work, they'll do these gratitude journals where they speak about it and how they feel. I always think it's very important to say how you feel about it, because if you haven't noticed, emotions have strong impacts on things and bringing things in faster or slower if you can put the emotion into it, versus if you just are writing things down without feeling it to be true for you. You're just like, this is what I should be saying. I find it so much more powerful when we put the emotion in. So the exercise is you take a journal and you write down everything that you're grateful for, but it's actually things you don't have yet, but you want to have in your life. So you speak as if you have it already, and you would say, let's say you want to manifest in a new coffee maker. There we go. You're a coffee maker, breaks all the time, it isn't great, but you haven't justified buying one because there's just so many other things to pay for. We're going to manifest in a coffee maker, a nice, extra fancy espresso coffee maker. And so we're going to say, I love my new, and then say like the model of the coffee maker you want. If there is one. If not, you can say my new fancy espresso coffee maker machine. I love how the frother that came with it steams my milk to the perfect temperature. I love the flavors of coffee it produces. I am so grateful for this new espresso machine. I love that when I'm drinking my coffee, I have time to do gratitude journals. I feel so grateful and so happy at how quickly it makes coffee for me. I love starting my day with the coffee that this wonderful coffee machine makes for me. Like, if that makes sense, you just try to keep wording words around it, and you just actually think about all the things that you're so grateful for around it. And it might seem strange speaking present for something that's in the future, but it is really digging into that fact that we're always talking about, yeah, someday I'll have that. And they're saying how like that universe really likes clear communication. The universe truly does take things literally, I would say. It's just like, okay, that's what you mean? Let's get it to you in the future. And then you're like, okay, well, the future needs to eventually become now. So people are just like, all right, how do we get past this? We're going to say we have it now. We're going to have a journal specifically dedicated to gratitude. And it could just be gratitude for what you already have, because that's really good to reflect on that. Or you can also occasionally have gratitude for the things you want to bring in as a manifestation journal. But it is really important that you have it as a separate journal just for itself. It's just creating better energy around it, more like intention around it. It's just good to keep that as a positive journal. Everything about it is going to be about love and gratitude. It just feels better that way. Okay, and then I did see this exercise to increase your energy and manifestation abilities. I see you guys being people who might really like playing team sports. Like, that's fun. It keeps your brains less busy. I don't know why I want to keep saying ping pong, because that's pretty random sport around here, at least for where I'm from. But if that is what you are passionate about, I can see how you have to react quickly. It's really good for not making your brain overthink. It gets your body moving, and that's really awesome. Your body does so much better when it has movement throughout the day. And I always like to say it doesn't have to be stressful movement. The body just likes movement, period. So if that's just walking like 5K a day, 10K a day, or dancing is really good. Your hips really like the circular motion to get out some of the stuck energy and the sacral chakras. If you're into like yoga, that's also really great. Lots of movement there, anything like that. But I feel like for this pile specifically, you guys are more like into sports and really having to be more quicker action things to, yeah, I think the thoughts to not stress so much, just to have time where your brain isn't worried about these finances. So maybe ping pong, maybe soccer, maybe community badminton or football. I do think any of those things would work. Some of you might even be hockey. But I am getting, weirdly enough, a lot of vibes around racket kind of sports, but it doesn't have to be that. Okay, savings. So as you consistently save for your future is saved. You do your future self a big favor as you consistently set aside present funds. This is part of your self-care path to feeling secure as you focus upon your life purpose. So this one is interesting because when I looked at this, I felt so drawn to the pink roses, and they represent gratitude, comfort, joy, elegance, which is kind of just, I'm always like, when people say elegance, what do they mean? They mean being gracefully refined and dignified, freed from impurities, I guess is really it, free from vulgarities, free from, I don't know if any of those words really make sense, but it's almost like when I see these pink flowers, I think saving money is gonna help clear a lot of blocks and a lot of like frustration and anger and discomfort you have with that shadow side of yourselves, that aspect of you who comes up when they're under pressure and feel like they're in a tough spot, who I think you guys could go out and maybe spend more than what you have. Like maybe you put a little too much on a Visa card or something like that, or you're like, okay, I'm feeling tight for money right now, but then you go on a shopping spree kind of energy. And I think it's saying if you can commit to just saving, I mean, I always think just starting small is like the best way. Like if you put $10 in an account a day or $10 a week in an account a day, that even will help you to start to shift that energy. And I feel like once you accept whatever this shadow aspect of you, this attribute that's coming out, this personality that's coming out that you really don't like, it's going to be easier for you to save money, because instead of it trying to gain some spotlight and comfort itself by putting you into old habits and patterns that I think for you guys is around spending money in a way that makes you feel not great. I even think for some of you, you might be like financially stable, then all of a sudden you just like something becomes too much. This, I want to say inner wounding, this inner child wounding, this, it could be an injured masculine or feminine wounding pops up. You have been overridden basically because you haven't listened to them. You've been trying to keep them quiet in the corner, and they just, it's almost like whenever you suppress emotion too strong, eventually it's going to come back up and things are going to explode. And it can look like anything. It could look like a crazy shopping spree where you basically go over the top. It could be like an emotional outburst where you just start crying at the end of it. It can be anger. It honestly, there's so many ways it can pop up, but I think for this group, it's almost like you punish yourself, and that's why I think it's a worthiness block. I think you punish yourselves by going and spending all the money you've worked hard to save, or you and your partner have worked hard to save, and then you're left in this stressful, horrible situation, and part of you's like, see, you deserve this, which is so not true. But I don't know, this seems very specific, so I always get cautious. This might not be for everyone in this reading, but it's definitely there for someone, where it's saying you don't deserve that. But if you've found yourself in this pattern, it's saying this is where it's coming from. It's like this inner wounded self of you is almost playing this cycle or this role over and over again, and it really just needs to be acknowledged so it stops jumping up and like taking over and causing this havoc and destruction in your life. And I think that could even be why you kind of hate that side of you even more, because you're like, look what you do to me, you're just like this horrible, gross thing. But ironically, it's because when something isn't heard or seen, that it gets that way, it gets that gross and that built up. I'm sorry, I'm really hoping I'm explaining this right. I'm really trying to say, like, I guess I've often said that I get intuitive knowings and feelings, so I always sometimes have a hard time making sure I'm vocalizing everything clearly enough so that everyone understands what I'm saying, because in my mind it just seems so clear. So I'm really just trying to say around this block is that accepting it and nurturing it and being compassionate towards it should really help break these cycles around your finances. And I think in a lot of other things, receiving definitely feels like a really big thing. Very big thing. But I don't know if you guys noticed, like, look at all the stacks of money. Like, there's money there. There's a huge stack of money there. I just think it's going to be such a game changer for you. I sometimes feel like it can get very overwhelming with all the work that says it needs to be done. But the payoff here is gonna be incredible. And I just really think it's important that you know that you are deserving of that. Like, really, you really are. The universe is trying to bring it all in. Nothing here said that you are not worthy of being helped or deserving a life where you aren't like the richest person in the world. There's nothing here saying that, but it's saying that this inner wounding, for some reason, has been telling you that you aren't. And then I think, unfortunately, somewhere in your subconscious you're believing it, and it's just so not true. It's not true at all. I don't see one message here saying that that is correct or right. It is not. Yeah, definitely some heart healing here. I think a good place to also start is by saying an affirmation around being deserving and worthy of receiving. I would say love and abundance in all its positive forms. I really like that one because it really gets very specific. And yeah, deserving, worthy, and willing to accept love and abundance in all its positive forms. It's a little bit longer, I guess, to say that, but it just seems really good. And I know if you're being like, oh, how am I ever gonna not say a negative thing in my head or out loud? Don't worry, the universe does give you chances. It's, if you notice that, just say clear, cancel, delete. What that means is that we're clearing what we just said from the air, the energy from it. We're canceling that thought and we're deleting the file so that we take it back and then we correct it. And I would say to replace it with that saying, like, I am deserving, worthy, and willing to accept abundance in all its positive forms. You can even just say that part in your head. I understand that sometimes you're at work and you can't just go and say that, but I would say clear, cancel, delete that thought, what I just said. And you know what, it just came to me, I think for this group you also have to say I'm sorry for a little bit when you catch yourself. I'm sorry. I am deserving, worthy, and willing to accept love and abundance in all its positive forms. I think that I'm sorry is really important for an aspect of you that needs to hear that and be validated that you do believe it's better than that, and it was just an old habit that you're trying to learn to get out of. Yeah. It does feel a lot better to me saying it that way. Just to finish this reading, I want to clarify these cards a little bit more because I feel like they just really sum up everything we've talked about. So the Poet card is kind of all about going within and deeply reflecting and bringing to light the truth that you find there. And then even when you feel like nothing is changing, no one, like the universe isn't listening to you, it's not hearing you, to continue, because it is hearing you, it is shifting, it's just taking longer than you'd like to shift. And like that's not the most comforting thing, but it is saying in the end, like, great change comes from this. And it's really just asking you to go within and be honest with yourself and vulnerable with yourself and not be afraid to take time for introspection, to see all the sides of you and to shine a light in the corner that you've been trying to look away from. And then obviously it's very interesting it came up with the mask card. I think all of us know masks kind of conceal our identities, our emotions, our truth. And it's really just saying it's time to, actually just why I think why these two cards are so beautifully placed in this card pull is it's basically saying it's time to go within and take a look at what you've rejected and what you've hidden behind a mask or hidden in the shadows, and reflect on it and be okay with it, and not to give up when it doesn't seem that anyone is hearing you or the universe isn't changing what it's bringing in, because it is changing. It just needs a little bit of time because it's just heard so much of the opposite from you. It's just taking time to reorder things and get you on that path of abundance that you're now shifting towards. I hope that helps. I hope everything made sense. I was trying really hard to communicate everything with some examples, not to feel discouraged or like you're bad people or like you're not deserving of anything. I really just feel like the world is your oyster. Like the universe wants to offer you anything and everything that you want to experience from it. And I do keep seeing little hints here that the angels are trying to communicate with you through animals and numbers, and seeing pairs of things, like twos of things, seems really important for this group. It could even be that, like, if you think about the number 2, it's like taking the next step. It's the second step. And this is what they're wanting from you, is you to do that. I also think if you guys want to look up the spiritual meaning of dolphins, that would be good. I always kind of think of them as self-love and acceptance, helping with communication blocks. But I feel like there's deeper meanings than just that. That's the very general meaning that I know. So if you feel called to it and you want a little more confirmation, I think if you guys go and Google that, it's going to give you more clarity. But other than that, that's all I had for you guys. If you feel like it, please leave me a like or a comment so I know if this resonated with you, if it helped you out or not. If not, no pressure. You know, you do your own thing. You got your own free will. So I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you around. Hello, Pile 2. So you guys chose this Metatron pyramid, and it has obsidian in it. I almost said Megatron. I think it's a pretty common mistake, but it's not a transformer. Metatron is an angel who helps us clear our chakras. So I'm very interested to see how this correlates or relates into your finance reading. So let's get started. Okay, Pile 2. I'm seeing right away that the angels are saying a big block around finances for you is coming from your beliefs around money. And they're asking you to do 2 things. The first thing is to do cord cutting with money. And how that will look is if you've ever done cord cutting, you picture someone in a green bubble, but instead you're going to picture a green bubble and put money in it. And then you visualize a cord from you to that bubble. From there, you ask Archangel Michael to cut the cord at the end closest to the bubble of money. And you're going to ask him to do it with a yellow sword. That's going to take back some of the power you've given money kind of over you, over your life, over circumstances around you. And then from there, you're going to ask Archangel Michael to cut the cord again closest to you so that that cord is completely gone. It's not a healthy connection you have with money right now. And then from there, you're going to visualize very free-flowing, almost like if you've ever seen, I'm trying to think, like I think of a heart monitor where the money just like moves like that, but it's like electricity. And it's going to be very light and airy, and it's going to be of like shimmering colors. That's the connection you're going to reattach to money, and it feels really light and good. The cord cutting one honestly just takes seconds. To do that, maybe even if you're open to it, I would say for 7 days straight, because they're saying that you might just have a habit of going back into thinking about money the same way for the first little bit. And I think doing it 7 days straight is really reiterating that you want that healthier connection with it, and that you're cutting out all those beliefs that aren't true, that you've learned from somebody else around what money really means and what it really is. And second method is if you've ever heard of an open chair method, usually you do it for healing around an injury or a wounding with an inner self or a parent. And for this one, you're actually going to do it with money. So you're going to picture an open chair, you're going to visualize money in it sitting across from you. And then you're going to think about money and what feeling comes up. If it's anger, frustration, greed, lack, whatever emotion comes up. I don't think if it's love, then that's great. You don't even need to do it if you have just the feeling of love and lightness, because that's how money should feel. If it feels another way, then that means that that emotion has come from someone else, or that belief system has been put on you from someone else, usually a parent, or maybe even a partner or relationship partner. So you're going to picture it, whatever emotion comes up. Say it is lack, like you don't feel supported by money. So then you're going to put another chair in your mental mind, and you're going to say, where else have I felt that in my relationships? And if it's your dad was always stressed about money, said there was never enough, like you can't work enough, you're never going to get anywhere, like whatever kind of feeling that was associated with the feeling that came up about money. Take that, look at your dad, and then you're going to look at money and say, sorry, money, that wasn't you, that is my dad. And say, sorry, money, I love you. And then you're going to leave money. It should feel a little bit lighter. And then you're going to look at your dad. And then you're going to say to your dad in that chair, I'm sorry. This is how you feel about money. It's not how I feel about money. And then I feel like for you guys, you should say, I love you, but I release this belief around money that you had. And I would say cut cords with your dad's energy in that space. So still in that like sitting down space, visualize him in a green bubble, visualize the cord. Once again, I want you to use a yellow sword with Archangel Michael, get him to cut it first at his end, then at your end. And you could have to do this several times. Like maybe you look at money again after this and you say, how do I feel about money? And then all of a sudden you feel like it's greed. Say your mom was a very devout Christian woman. She believes having money made you a greedy person, a bad person. You're going to look at that. You're going to say the same thing to money. Sorry, money. That's not you. That's my mom's feelings about money. You are love. And then you're going to look at your mom and say, this isn't my feelings. Mom, this is your feelings around money. I love you, but I release this belief back to you. And then you're going to put her in a green bubble. You're going to cut twice, same yellow sword. And then you're going to say, look at money and say, I love you, money. And then see if you feel something. If something else pops up, just keep going to it. That one, like I said, does take more time, but you would be amazed, even if you just see where it takes you the first time, how powerful that is. It gives you really an awareness to, is this really how I believe money is, or what it can provide me with, or what it is as a thing? Or is this just what society, what my peers, my parents, my grandparents, my friends have made me feel money means? I myself did this years ago, and I was shocked to see, like, even when I heard someone talking about doing this version of healing around money, I was like, yeah, I do believe money is like a bad thing. Like, it is, a lot of people have greed around it. It feels selfish to have money. And I had to really take some reflection to be like, why do I believe that? Like, I want money, I want more of it in my life, but I have this belief system that's basically contradicting that. And if I can't bring in more money and abundance and finances, if I let this belief keep running through my mind and being the truth about how I feel about it. So I'm getting a pretty strong message around that for you guys. Cord cutting, I think it's really just, it's going to make the world's difference doing that exercise. Even if you only get around to doing that chair meditation once, I think that would still just be powerful enough to shift things. Obviously, if you can do it a few times, I think that would just be like amazing, amazing. Okay, let's look at other messages here. There's definitely a bit of a receiving block that I'm picking up on next. I think that does come from whatever this belief is that you have around money and it not being great. I think for you guys, it could be that having money makes people greedy, or greedy people are the people with money, because I think that's why there's a block in the receiving around it. You're feeling like you don't want to be a bad person, you want to be a good person, which is so fair. But changing that belief, I think, will actually just clear that energy from here. And then if you keep seeing again and again, I have to tell you guys to change the way you see money. Change the way you see it. And then you can bring it in. So it says, release resentment about money. Wow. I sometimes just don't read them, but I should read them right away, because that's basically what I was just thinking. So release resentments about money. Yes, the money system of the world can seem upsetting, but holding resentment about finances just pushes your abundance away, which is perfectly what I was trying to say. That's so well put. Okay, instead, see money as a tool you can use to better the world, and this shift will help you attract support and golden opportunities. Yeah, so great. I also do want to say, some of that block is coming from some religious upbringing or Christian influence in your family. It doesn't specifically have to be Christian, but I'm feeling like it's more rooted towards that specific religion. And it might even be like Mormonism, which I'm not sure is technically a Christian belief. I'm not sure. But something around that, and making you feel like it's a bit corrupt and you don't want to be a part of it. I think doing release writing is also going to be great for you guys. It is going to help with the belief around you being deserving and worthy of receiving in general. And Earthly Spirit Community, Ocean Conservation. I think it's going to really help you be more fruitful. So I keep seeing this card, and it is confusing me a little bit, but I think it just means that you need to kind of nurture this belief a little bit, and it's going to take a little bit of time for you to bring in this abundance that you want. Just because there is a lot of deeper work to do. Nothing here is saying you are not going to get there, but it's just telling me like, it's going to feel like a slow process. But to understand, like, if you can shift something that you, like a limiting belief that is so deep about money being bad to one of I'm deserving of it. I can do so much more in this world that is good with money, because and honestly, if we can't take care of our own selves and our own needs in this day in society, you do need money for that. How are you going to help others? So I think shifting that belief, telling yourself that you're worthy and deserving of that, is going to bring it in. I don't want to ever give specific dates, but I think for you guys, this is going to take about a year of a journey to get there. But I think once you do this, I think it is one really big block, but I think it's the main block around it, where a lot of times when I see people with blocks around finances, there's tons of little ones that are really hard for people to deal with, because they'll deal one and then they're like, what do you mean I still have like 10 other little ones I have to deal with? But for you guys, I think it's just like this core belief around it that's really blocking you. So in some ways it's nice to know once you kind of shift that, it's really going to change everything for you. Look at that change in direction. So the change you're experiencing are divinely directed by your newborn willingness to open your heart to love and our guidance. You are protected now and in the future. So follow your path to the happy outcomes you desire. So I actually think it's just saying, yeah, changing your perspective, reconsider how you see money will improve the situation. And I think that, like, if you have worries about you becoming corrupt from being financially abundant, this card right here is saying, no, that's not true. The angels here are going to work with you. Just keep in mind how you can be a service to the world. I think that's really going to be important for this pile, because I do feel like this fear around corruption and that money equals corruption. But shifting that and keeping the highest good in love and light in mind, you're going to, I think, be just fine. Yeah, I'm not feeling any need to worry about you guys being corrupted here. Everything's very of love and light feelings. Yeah. Okay, so clean energy food. When you fuel your body with a healthful organic diet, you increase your energy levels and ability to focus. This automatically leads to more efficiency, better ideas, and a higher vibration, which attracts golden opportunities and beneficial relationships. So it's interesting. The last pile also had like a random what you can do for your physical well-being to make you feel better and more attuned to receiving and bringing in good. Yours is definitely around food that you're eating. I don't know if everyone likes hearing that. It doesn't maybe specifically have to be organic foods, but it's just saying if you're eating a lot of processed foods, it has a very low vibration. It makes us feel sluggish. It makes us feel less deserving and good. If you eat more fresh foods like vegetables and fruits, and even just like more of a whole foods diet, it helps you have more clarity of mind, clarity of heart. It makes you feel lighter. And honestly, clarity is just the greatest gift, is what I've learned. When you feel sluggish, you feel confused, and like you can't see clearly in your own brain. It's like foggy. But clarity, it really helps you bring more things into your life, have more awareness around your own actions and the things you're saying, being more present. Honestly, it just basically means being the best version of yourself you can be. And I think everyone wants that in their life. So no more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom. With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom to reality. So I think this is specific around money. And just like I was saying, whatever beliefs you have around it, I think come out through your complaining or your kind of like smack talk about it. I think what I'm getting in my head as examples is like saying like, oh, that's so expensive, or I can't afford that, that's too much, or just like any kind of negative words around money and not having enough of it, or there never being enough to go around, or things being way too pricey, is just kind of affirming that negative energy around money. And they're saying like they literally say, take back your power. Like you're giving too much of your power to money and too much of your time to things you don't have and the negativity around it. Doesn't mean that stress isn't real, but I think they're just saying you might be giving it too much power over you and your situations. You don't need to focus so much on the negatives of that and more focus on like, oh, I would really love this. And if I would really love it and it really brings betterment to my life, it doesn't really matter the cost, which I know is always easier said than done. It's interesting. The last pile I told him to go look up the spiritual meaning of dolphins. I feel like I want to tell this pile the same. I don't think I have any other messages for you. I do want to say consider energy shielding. Actually, I did make a few animation videos. So I did have one on cord cutting, but I did a very generic version. I would really recommend you do the double cuts and the yellow sword cut if you watch that animation video, and to watch the shielding energy video. I'm not getting a specific reason why. You guys could just be spiritually sensitive people, but they're definitely saying, yeah, time to start doing that. I think it's going to help you not pick up everyone else's beliefs and feelings around money in the situation. You could be someone who works around a lot of other people, or I even have a lot of friends or family members who are always talking negatively about money and stress about money, and that could be sticking to you and your aura, which would make you take on more of those beliefs without you even realizing it. And you know what, before I let you go, I should just address the underworld card. I see it here as just bringing light into your beliefs that you weren't really sure that you had around money, and then just understanding that it didn't come from you. Money doesn't actually feel that way. It's come from some other force that isn't in your highest good, of the highest vibration, because money is really a loving energy. And it should feel that way for you guys. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got for you. If you felt like this resonated, please feel free to leave me a comment or a like. If not, you know, no pressure. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you around. Hello, pile 3. So you guys chose this shell that I actually just like found one day on the side of a beach. I don't know where it originally came from. Kind of looks like a crab shell, but yeah, okay. Let's see how your reading goes about your finances. Okay, pile 3. I actually feel really good about the cards you guys got. It feels like your finances are pretty good. Like the energy coming towards them is really great. They do have a few things here that they're saying right off the bat. The angels are telling me that sometimes you guys might not see that they're helping you with this, or that it's coming in. Like you feel like you might just be asking for it, but then you're like, oh, I thought it was working for a bit, but now it's not. They're just saying, no, don't forget that they are helping you bring it in. It is coming in. Sometimes a bit of a block comes around. What they're saying is that you think you're the one who has to bring it in, that you have to work harder for it to come in. But they're just saying, if you release that control, remember to keep releasing that control to them, and that you focus more on being of service to this world. That's like the perfect energy that allows them to bring in as much abundance towards you as they possibly can. But I do feel like you guys do that a lot, but occasionally you kind of fall a bit into that place where you forget that. That being said, I do just want to say, so there's 2 cards that I want to read right away. The one saying an increase in abundance is arriving in many different forms, some of them unexpected. That's when the universe is helping you out, and that's why it's so important to remember to keep releasing control and focus our brains on how can you be of service? I just feel like it's really good to distract ourselves with something like that, because finances are something we can get very emotionally attached to, and giving our brain as something else to pay attention to helps it kind of get distracted from having to control how money comes in, and if it is coming in, and focus it on just being the most helpful, best person you can be for this planet, this earth. And then, sorry, it also says, be open to receiving and know that this abundance comes to you. Support your life purpose, health, and charitable work. So that's why, yeah, it feels really great. I think you guys are light workers of some sort. You're definitely trying to help people and do good with this abundance, which is so amazing to see. As you can see, it does say within the next few weeks, listen to your intuition. I think that is talking about how you guys might shift the career you're in. Nothing here feels shocking though. I think a lot of this is stuff that you've known. You might be trying to get like a different promotion or change branches at work, or you might be someone who was working a part-time job or a temporary job to pay off student loans of some sort, or just kind of pay for bills until you could get started in this more passionate, soul purposeful career. And I think you're like, this feels like a really great reading. Like you guys are actually going to get into that job very soon. Moonlighting says you can start working on your dream career part-time while keeping your other job to pay the bills. Soon your dream career will take flight and fully support you. Wow, so sometimes I feel like I should just read these cards before I speak, because yeah, that's really saying that I think you're in this transition time, and I don't think it's going to be very long for some of you. I think you're just going to find yourself within a few months full-time in this other career. For some of you though, it could be like you might just be doing like a day or two at this other job and then doing the rest of the days at this career. I do feel like there's a bunch of different variations there, but the commonality is that you guys are all definitely on such a great path. You're really channeling in the energy in such a great way with this, how can I be of service to the world? How can I bring the most light that I can to this universe? And it's, yeah, it feels really awesome. There is just this card here, says go for it. It's reminding you to trust your intuition and your connection to your guides and the angels. Your prayers and positive expectations have been heard and answered. We've been working with you on this situation since the Genesis, and we continue to watch over you and everyone involved. Stay on your present path, as it will take you very far indeed. Yeah, so I think it's just saying, you know, it's very human of us to have doubts, and like I was saying, I do see that there's a bit of a block in you seeing that this is coming through and that they are supporting you with that. I think it could be because you've been manifesting this for a while now, and usually once we're really done with an old way, we're just ready to leave it and we want the other thing to be our only reality, but the universe is just needing a little bit more time to catch up. They are saying they are hearing everything you're asking for. They are bringing it forward, so don't worry about that. It is coming in. Yeah, I think for you guys, this isn't just about finances. I think it's also about mostly career and being able to not have to worry about keeping this job you're less passionate about, so that you can just financially be stable and keep up with payments. They're saying, like, don't worry, like, you're not even gonna have to worry about that soon. The job that you want, the place you want to be is coming in. Really, really trust that. You can feel it in your gut. Listen to your intuition. They're giving you the messages there that it's all coming into fruition. Just even seeing fertility, the potential, powerful creative energy, initiation energy. I really do see that it's still growing and it is coming in, and I think that's why they're saying you might have to be okay with working this other job for a little bit longer, that you are going to be working this one that you're more passionate about, your more soul purpose of service one very soon. The gem, yeah, very interesting. I think that just even goes to say, like, you really are bringing in abundance. I don't know, I keep wanting to say the hidden gem, the hidden gem. Okay, so I think what they mean by this is that you guys really are gifted, you're very talented, you are healers, you are doing, like, you're bringing more light onto this earth. You're really making like a I feel like you guys are like into doing shadow work or deeper healing of some sort for people, or you might even be helping people with like the stuff that no one else likes to help people with. I could even see some of you guys maybe helping people with drug addictions, alcoholic addictions, homeless people. Like, I feel like you're really going in to the depths here with what most people don't like to address or acknowledge. And they're just really just confirming that what you're doing is really shining a light on the situation. You're just like so unique. You're one of a kind, and you're really gonna make a lot of change in this world. And to just remember, like, the shadow aspect of this card can be is when you're not feeling secure or like things are coming in, it can bring in an energy of a bit of greed or the need to grasp for things. So I think that might be why they're just bringing up, I don't think you're in that energy necessarily, but they're just saying sometimes when you feel like the universe isn't hearing you or answering your call, maybe sometimes you can feel like you are grasping desperately, trying to like bring more money in, but they're saying that's just the shadow aspect of this. It's the ego, if anything, of that card. So to have that in your awareness, I think will help. And just remember from there to shift to that energy of how can I be of service, and it's going to help dissipate that need to control and grasp for what you want. And the problem is when we're desperately trying to grasp something, it usually just always sneaks out of our reach. So shifting that focus to how can I be of service, and trusting your intuition and seeing that it is all coming in for you. They're giving you lots of signs. I think this group might see a lot of I think you might see a lot of like rabbits, foxes, deer, what are those things called? Gophers. Look up the spiritual meanings of them. Although they seem like really common animals, I think you see them more than other people do. And they're just saying the angels are giving little messages behind that, because they know that we all are just human and we need a little extra support and communication just to be sure that we're being heard. And I think also your dreams. I think you guys should really look into your dreams if you've been having a lot lately. They're trying to send you messages through them. I feel like some of you are thinking, I don't ever know what my dreams mean. Usually it's the meaning behind it. So if you have a dream about being trapped somewhere, it's saying don't get caught up in all the details of like, I was stuck in this box, this happened to me. They're saying the overall message is saying that you're feeling trapped. They're trying to bring that into your awareness. That is not true. And I know you're like, what can I do with that? But it's just usually try to give you messages like, realize that this is how you're feeling, reconnect with that part of you so that you can kind of release that limiting belief or that feeling that keeps coming up. Okay, I think that's actually all I have for you guys. It might have seemed short, but I think it's just because everything you're saying, you're on the right path. You just sometimes need a little reminder that the angels are helping you bring it in. Everything is being brought to you. You are going to get to that career, that soul path, that higher purpose job that you want to come into. It's really, it says really soon, within the next few weeks. So that's really awesome. Okay, so please feel free to leave a comment or a like if this resonated with you. If not, no pressure. I'll see you guys around. Hello, Pile 4. You guys chose this shell jasper. I really like it. I like the duality of it. So I wonder how that's going to contribute to your reading. Let's get started. Okay, Pile 4. I'm seeing a message for you guys around you feel very isolated and very on your own, and I don't know if that's just in your finances or as well as just in your every, like being able to meet your needs and having to take care of yourself. I feel like you guys feel like it's all up to you, and that's very exhausting. It's very hard place to be in, and it doesn't feel great. So getting that energy from this reading, and then I want to like just go right into the angels are saying that they want to work with you more. They want you to know that you're supported by them, and that the universe is trying to work with you to help bring things in, and that you don't have to do it all on your own anymore. So it's saying to ask us to help you in this situation, and we will immediately go to work on your behalf. We're governed by many universal laws, and among them is free will that allows you to make your own choices and decisions. So we patiently await your request. And that's just really saying, although angels can try to send you a bunch of little signs that they're there and that they want to help you, they can't help you until you give them permission to help you. So you have to actually say, like, angels, universe, I give you my permission. I ask for your guidance. I ask for your help. Please help align me with whatever it is you're wanting help with, like bringing in more finances, more abundance, bringing in more people who can support me, helping me out. Please help me with that. It's honestly, you can ask them for help with anything. And then the partnership one, I actually saw more as like you asking, kind of going with that card around, asking for help in from the universe and from the angels to not feel so alone. And so like the weight of the world's on your shoulders. And it says, allow healthful, supportive partnerships into your personal life and career, and both parties benefit as a result. You are receiving help from heaven, from a person who brings needed skills and resources. So this is telling me that you have a bit of a block in receiving and letting people help you out. I think it comes from having to do so much for yourself, take care of yourself for so long, that I actually do see a couple messages around needing like some deeper work being done to help with that wounding. I think it goes beyond what you can do for yourself. Not that you can't heal yourself, but I think you need someone who can hold space for you and support you, and that will help you heal. And so if that looks like an energy healer of some sort, a therapist, a life coach, you name it, any kind of healing, I think is really, really going to be beneficial. It's gonna help you not feel so alone, and kind of, I don't know, I think it's really gonna help bring up your spirits. I feel like you guys are feeling pretty sad and down right now, and that is going, even if you can just go once, I feel like I'm just gonna message that, well, I don't have a lot of finances right now. If you can even look into some cheaper ways, like there's always like new people getting into something that will have like free, they'll do it for free if you leave them a review, or they'll do it for a really discounted rate because they need to get certain many hours of experience. And I think just even going that way, if you ask the angels to align you with the healer that's going to be of your highest good, it's going to make sure that you don't just get someone who has no idea what they're doing. They're going to be someone who can actually really hold space for you and help you out. And that it really does seem important that someone else holds space so that you know you're safe. That's definitely a very prominent message. I think that's also where the take action card's coming around. I think they're saying it's time to really shift this energy. It's if you're wondering, how is this going to help me with my finances? If we're not feeling good, if we don't feel worthy, if we feel like no one can help us and we have to do everything on our own, it's really hard for us to get out of the cycles we're in, because the universe is what brings in that superior abundance that we all want. Those greater finances, those better partners, those more divinely aligned things all come from the universe helping us out. And if we believe we have to do it on our own, it's really hard. I don't want to say anything's impossible, but it's a lot more difficult than when we're working with the universe and the angels to bring things in. And then I think it's also saying that to be a little more gentle in your mental communication with yourself. Okay, this card here makes me think you guys might really like being outside, hiking, gardening, whatever it is. Going outside and being in nature really helps you guys feel supported and connected. This card here says, spending time in nature helps shift you to a higher vibration and reminds you of God's infinite abundance. Go outside and enjoy a walk or hike with your pet, meditate beneath a tree, garden, sit under the stars, or do some other activity to connect with the limitless vastness. So I really think if you guys are able to go in to the mountains, depending on where you live, I think some of you might be maybe a little intimidated to have to summit a mountain, but there are actually a lot of like alpine lakes you can hike to where you're surrounded by these very large mountains, but you don't actually have to summit them. In some ways, you might feel better being at the mid-level section of the mountains, because I feel like you are needing a little more groundedness, a little more support. And there's nothing more grounded and supportive in structure than a mountain. It's connected both to Mother Earth, and it is so tall, it connects itself to the higher source energy we all come from. So it's really going to help you guys feel accepted and like there's enough energy to hold space for you. I do really recommend you guys seeing some other kind of practitioner, but I have noticed that mountains are such a strong structure and have really great energy for holding space for us just to feel and be entirely ourselves and truthful with ourselves. I do know a lot of people who have struggled in overcoming their childhoods, hard situations, are usually really drawn to the mountains because they allow them to just feel clear of mind and attuned with the universe, and they just really hold space for you to reflect and have some introspection on yourself and how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. And I think you guys could really use that. So when I even see like the orphan card, it usually tells me there's some inner child wounding that is needing to be looked at or visited. And I think going to the mountains is really going to help you feel supported in that way. The snake, if it intimidates you, is actually a symbol of protection. So I think it's going to say that your receiving block is coming from your childhood wounding. I mean, I think it really makes sense. I feel like this pile had a harder childhood where you got those habits of having to take on the world on your own, having to take care of yourself, having to grow up too fast, not really getting to be a child. And I also think that means you have been worrying about your finances and being stable and being able to provide for yourself for many, many years. And I think the mountain, that area, that environment is really going to help you guys start to release some of that wounding. Okay, and then this conscious consumer card, it says you have the power to heal and help the world with your decisions to buy only products and services that are ethical and environmentally friendly. As a conscious consumer, you choose to invest in fair trade and organic goods. You live simply and you purchase only that which you need. So there's two messages that I think are important for you guys here. I think it's saying sometimes you guys can get very stressed out about finances, that you can end up spending money on things that aren't in your highest good that you regret later. I actually picture it as like junk food or like another pair of shoes or something that you don't really need, but they made you feel a little bit better for a moment, and now you feel a lot of guilt around having spent money on that. It's just saying it's good to kind of avoid doing that. It's really going to change your overall self love and your connection with yourself, because you won't be kind of having this regret that you are upset with yourself around. And then the other message I'm getting from this one, where it says buy only products and services that are ethical and environmentally friendly, I think you guys might have a little bit of a block around. I did just see this in another pile where it's almost like we're taught in our society that people who have a lot of money aren't great people. They hurt people, you know, like people who make the most money are usually cutting corners and are doing things ethically. I think they're saying by paying more attention to what types of things you're buying, it might help you feel better about your finances and money, and and realizing that it doesn't always have to be a thing associated with greed or some of those grosser qualities that we all kind of can see when people are in their shadow and are using money, meaning like in a greedy way, selfish way, desperate way, all those kind of energies. Let's see what else there is here. You know, I think that's all they really are saying right now. They're kind of telling me this is a lot of information. It might be a lot to digest, so they don't want to overload you with a very long reading. But just to know that it's really important that you ask the angels and the universe for help, and to consider spending more time in nature, in a garden, near a mountain, near lakes, to kind of help create space to start releasing and reflecting and introspection around this inner child wounding, and kind of just feeling your emotions, I want to say, so that they can be released and they won't keep taking you down certain cycles around feeling like you're always in lack, you're always isolated, you're always by yourself. And I really would strongly recommend seeking out that professional help of some sort, whether it's an energy worker or if you like the mental health, emotional support. All of them are going to be really good for this pile. Yeah, and then just to remember to be a little gentle with the words that you're using with yourself, to make sure they're a little more focused around self-love and being deserving and worthy, because you are. Yeah, I really don't want to say much else because they're really telling me it could be overwhelming. So I'm going to leave that there, let that digest with you guys, and I hope that this reading brought you more clarity and didn't bring on any more extra weight on your shoulders, because you sure don't need any more of that. And I really hope that you start to feel like it doesn't all have to be on you. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. Please leave me a comment or a like if it resonated with you, but no pressure. If not, I'll see you guys around. Hello, pile 5. All right, you guys chose this obsidian with silver sheen, if that's what it is. Obsidian with silver sheen in it. Yeah, it's just like a gentler form of obsidian, because obsidian can tend to make us have to look in the mirror and clear our shadow selves and inner child work, and that can be a lot. So I like silver sheen because it's just a little more gentle. Okay, let's see what you guys got in your reading. Okay, pile 5. One of the first messages I'm getting from here is saying the universe right now is in a time where it's trying to provide you with extra abundance and extra energy to pursue the goals and your dreams that you're wanting. So that's a great message to get right off the bat for a finance reading. That's everything what you want to hear. I am seeing some blocks though, like some blocks in your own personal belief system that has stopped you from getting this abundance in. And it's kind of like the deservingness is the one that's standing out right away, and not always recognizing that there's more than one form of abundance. Like finance is one of the main ones we think about, but I think just even being like abundant in good friends and support systems, abundant in positive opportunities that can then lead to financial abundance. I do think maybe sometimes you guys might be looking for just the financial abundance and then wondering why it's not coming in. So the deservingness, it says you are a beloved child of God like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus upon your divine life purpose. If you can't yet recognize your lovable qualities, trust that God and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. So this is showing me that there's a bit of a block in the it's funny, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. It's like it's showing me that it's a block in communication, but it's a block in communication to the universe and what it can bring into you. And it's coming from, it's showing me kind of like this chitter chatter in your head saying that maybe you're not quite worthy enough of it. And that maybe you're not like you kind of have to do this on your own. I'm seeing a bit of really strong independent energy, but also very strong worrying energy here. And both are kind of creating this miscommunication between you and the abundance you want to bring in. And it's funny because then I get drawn to this Destroyer card and the Maiden. So the Destroyer card makes me kind of think of, in this financial reading, that you'll be doing really good. In this Maiden card, asking and receiving and being okay with receiving help and believing that you're deserving of it. And then all of a sudden there's this shadow aspect that comes through, and it kind of goes, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, what are you going to do with that money? You got to do it by yourself. Hard work is the only way you can get abundance in this life. The only way you can be financially stable is if you work harder. And then it kind of confuses this like I think I see like you get like some good energy coming towards you, and then you get some like confusing energy because the universe is like, wait, you want to do it all your own, so we have to like take back what we're giving you and then like send it somewhere else. And don't beat yourself up about this. This is a very human thing to do, but they're just saying to gain awareness around this is going to help you figure it out and stay more on the I am deserving and worthy, and I want the universe to help me with this financial gain and having abundance and being able to support myself. And I know that I don't need to work myself to being burnt out to receive amazing things in this life. So this one's saying the Selkie and her skin, reclaiming your authenticity. I honestly, everything I'm seeing here, see only love, is a lot about worthiness and knowing that you yourself, as you are, the shadow self of you and the non-shadow self of you, like together forms your soul and your whole self, and all of it is deserving and worthy of receiving help and abundance and anything that you want in this life. And it's always easier said than done, but they really want you to start working on that relationship, start your journey with fully accepting self. And I actually feel like with this group, they keep saying really discovering who you are as a complete soul with all aspects of you. And I think some of you have had some harder events in your life. It's like saying understanding who you are with all the scars that you have, all the things that have been left on you, and understanding that together with all these experiences is really going to help you find your soul purpose in this life. I think also you guys could really benefit from looking up the spiritual meaning of seals. And yeah, I'm not going to do it. I think it would be really good if you guys read about it. I think it's going to really resonate. Some of you might feel more called to look up the spiritual meaning of seal pups. Look for a sign, be assertive. I think the universe is saying, like, this card is the one that's saying that it's time to take back your power. It's time you're ready to receive abundance. The universe is trying to bring it in. Look for a sign. I think if you see lots of rainbows for this group specifically, it's encouragement and a reminder that the universe is helping you and wants to bring it in. I also think every time, I think you guys might like certain constellations, star constellations. If you see that star, it's reaffirming to remember that you are deserving and worthy of this. I think thunder or lightning is going to be a great sign of that. If you see a specific animal, look it up. They're trying to tell you a message behind it. Certain numbers as well are always common ones. Or certain flowers for this group. If you see a certain flower all the time, look up its color and the meaning of that colored flower. I think that's also going to be another message they're trying to give you. Yeah, I feel like this group has very starseedy vibes. That might be something you already know about yourself or you might not know, so maybe even try looking into that. I do see it's important that you guys reconnect with your whole self, so that could even be part of it, fully accepting that aspect of you. And then doing some energy shielding wouldn't be bad for this group. I do see that as a message that keeps popping up. I want to read this card here. It says, see only love, look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings and see only the love within each person, including yourself. You're resolute. Focus upon the love that underlines every situation. Bring about healing in undreamed of ways. So I think it's kind of asking you in this reading specifically to have more compassion towards yourself in seeing how much you've overcome, how much you've done for yourself, and how far you've made it. I do feel like this group can sometimes get focused on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and the maybe where you should be's. And they're really saying, like, you've done so good. You have come so far, especially for someone with all your life experiences that you've endured. You're really doing amazing. And I really think you guys would benefit from doing full moon ceremonies. It's really going to help with releasing some old beliefs and making room for more abundance to come in by writing like gratitudes, setting up small goals. But I really feel like it's going to help you take time to reconnect with yourself and admire and appreciate your journey so far. And there is a really big ask around that about you appreciating your journey and yourself for having made it to where you are now. And yeah, just keep seeing lots of star stuff. So I really would recommend looking into star seeds. I don't know that many specifics around star seeds. I know a lot of people resonate with like Palladian or, oh gosh, it's so funny. Every time I try to say them when I'm reading, my mind goes blank. So yeah, best to just go look into that yourself. I'm trying to see any other messages here. Some of you might have been prone to wearing a mask and trying to hide yourselves or aspects of you, but it's saying you're so perfect and deserving and worthy just the way you are. It's time to get rid of that mask and step into your true power. It does seem to be a message that keeps coming forward, is it's really time to be you, take action, go for your goals, go for your dreams. Don't hold yourself back. You are so worthy and deserving of it. Yeah. I see lots of good things here. Lots of good things. Although sometimes it seems like I might give you a lot of things to work on. They're really recognizing you for the journey you've come through and survived. And more than survived, I think they're saying you've gone from being in a place of victimhood to like a fierce strong individual who maybe does have some of these scars that you've tried to hide, but they're actually what makes you so strong and so truly uniquely you and so powerful. I also think if it resonates with you, to look up the spiritual, I actually would say the angelic meaning of the number 25. I feel like there could also be a message there for you. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it here. I feel like it's really good to leave this as a light reading. I don't want anyone to get over focused in the wrong direction. This is more or less saying it's really time to take action. There is a few things to work on, but that's just the human life to have things to work on. But you've done a pretty great job so far, and to really appreciate yourself for that. And I'm sorry if this seems like a very random message for finance reading, but they always have a funny way of saying how the weirdest things affect what we think we deserve and our belief systems around what we can attract in. And I think this is just another one of those readings where the angels are like, this is strangely enough something that's affecting your finances. Okay. All right, so if you guys feel like it, please leave me a like or a comment so I know it resonated. If not, don't worry about it. I'll see you around. Okay, pile 6. You guys chose this apotholite cluster. I really like it. I always have it in all my card readings, so I figured I'd better put it as a crystal selection one of these times. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, pile 6, there's a few different messages coming through here. I do think a lot of them are revolving around shadow work is going to help you bring in more financial abundance. And I know that's not always what people want to hear when they go for a finance reading, but I do see like it's saying that there's dreams of abundance here, and I think they're saying like it's time for you to start living that, to have more money, to have more like leisure, more spare time. I think it's really going to be freeing for you guys. But they're saying there's a few things that are blocking you on an energetic level because it just isn't like it isn't aligning with what you want to bring in. So there's first thing I want to say, so there's no need to worry all the time. You're gonna find balance here. You're gonna bring in, I feel like, a work-life balance where you won't have to think you have to work so hard to bring in financial abundance. And it is saying to be open to being adaptable and getting yourself more organized. I think that means making like a goal list, like knowing what you want and putting it in the big form, and then taking small actionable steps to get there and writing those down so it's not so overwhelming. And I also think it will help you use your time more to your advantage. I do feel like this pile of people are very, very busy. I literally think you guys run around all the time trying to get things done. You're trying to transform where you're at into a time that's better, and you're really in the hustle right now. There is a message here saying that sometimes you guys might fall out of alignment with yourself and what you truly want, and you can maybe have a tendency towards people pleasing. It isn't something to be ashamed about. It's something that we all can tend to do, but they just want you to honor yourself and what your soul is wanting, what your heart truly wants for you, and to make sure that you're communicating what you want and speaking very clearly about it with others, so that the universe can hear you, and being very, very cautious with the words you choose around what you want to bring in. Don't say eventually I won't have to do this anymore, eventually I won't be so busy. They're saying speak as if you mean it and you have it already. So saying, I'm so glad that I am finding more balance in my life. Every day I find more time for myself and to do the things that I love. Just kind of words like that I think are very important for this pile. And I also think the importance of writing down what you want is kind of going to help bring your dreams to reality. You're going to be putting steps there to get you on the path to bring it into the physical world. And then I can't help but notice there's a lot of cards around releasing jealousy, compromise. I think the issue is sometimes you can agree to things when you're in the shadow aspect of people pleasing, but really you know what you want. You don't like that you're compromising. I think it can make you a bit bitter towards people sometimes, or angry or frustrated with them for not seeing that your way would be easier, faster, more convenient, something like that. And I think the jealousy could come from maybe some people who aren't nearly as qualified or as dedicated to the job that you're working, or other things like that, are getting promotions or getting more recognition, or some people are making more money that I would say it's not just you, other people don't really think they're deserving of. But this is when the universe says we're all capable of that same equal abundance. That the difference between the people who receive it and the people who don't is that that person who receives it believed they were deserving and worthy of it, where the other one who doesn't had some block around it, where they just didn't think that they deserved it over someone else or something like that. And it goes really deep within us, and it takes a lot of reflection and looking at our shadow sides to understand and realize that, to create awareness around that. And I think there is a little call to look into that. I think there is a little bit of that going on. Do you think sometimes you guys can fall into this trap of over promising and like blaming yourself or others for why some things didn't work out, or something around that? But that once again is like the shadow self. That is like the inner wounding that's coming out. The true aspect of you is people who are very fearless, who aren't afraid to take the risks, who put it all on the line. I think that's really this kind of pile. They only mention the shadow side because if you've noticed these things are coming up and it doesn't feel alignment with yourself, it's because it isn't really coming from the self or the you that is now, like the grown-up you. It's all coming from the shadow aspect that hasn't really felt like we've healed it or created enough space for it to feel safe, and then it pops up in our moments of stress or overburntness or in our insecurities. Yeah, totally normal though. Completely normal for a thing like that to happen. So I want to keep reading this. It says, time to go. The sun sets and rises each day, and it's the same with the avenues in your life. See the beauty within each sunset in your life, and know that the sun will also rise again tomorrow. Endings are merely the start of a new beginning, and we are with you through each phase and cycle. The we is the angels and the universe helping you to get what you want and provide for you. Right next to it says, no need to worry. You are safe. This is a situation is under the perfect control of divine providence and universal order. Only infuse loving thoughts and emotions into the situation to ensure that the highest possible outcome flows effortlessly to and through you. So I think that's also why it's saying release jealousy. It could be a situation that you aren't feeling great about, and they're just saying, when you focus on the negative or what you don't have, it brings that in. And when you focus on the good, you release your worries, it allows more positive energy to come to you. And like I was saying, there's so much abundance and good fortune in this universe that is endless and limitless. The only time we are with a limit is when we put false beliefs on what's possible for us. And to release those, I think, are some of the greatest challenges in this human life, is to not put limits on ourselves or limits on what can come in. And for some of you who are like, well, there's only one promotion, there's only one position. maybe, who knows, all of a sudden another branch of the place you work at has an even better opening up and you're available because you didn't get this promotion. So you had time to get this other one. They're saying you never know really what the universe is trying to bring to you, but if you focus on what you didn't get, you're kind of shifting all that work you've put into manifesting the good for you. And I actually even think when I see there's something better, I keep thinking whatever the situation was that really upset you, I think they're literally saying that there is something better coming your way. That's why you shouldn't worry about it. I know it's easier said than done, but it's because they actually are bringing something that's more in aligned with you specifically than that job that was initially available or that came up. Like a lot of times we just hear what it's supposed to be and we think it's perfect for us, but in reality, if we got the job, we might have been miserable. But maybe this other opportunity is really going to be more fulfilling and maybe even more financially abundant for you than the other one. So I do just actually want to read this. It says, jealousy is an affirmation that you don't have something, and the universe manifests exactly as you affirm. Let other people's successes inspire rather than frustrate you. If they can have it, so can you. So I guess that's really saying what I was just saying about anything's possible. You can have anything that you want, and knowing that someone else managed to manifest that into their life means that you can as well. And instead of focusing on what you don't have and thinking of how you're more qualified or, I don't know, more experienced than they were, they're really saying like that job in some way might not have been 100% fulfilling for you. And I guess the problem is if we don't experience it, we never know it. But they're saying we have something better coming. Focus on how excited you are that they got that position. That must mean there's an even better one coming your way. How exciting is that? And then I want to read this one too, where it says, as you sleep, God and the angels and your higher self are giving you divinely guided ideas, answers, and solutions. Be sure to record your dreams in a journal because they contain valuable insights that will help you manifest your desires into reality. I was thinking, I have gotten a few people in a few different piles here saying that the angels are trying to help people out with their finances a lot in their messages in their dreams. And I think for you guys, numbers, angel numbers are really important. So if you see like 444, it's 1111, 1234, 123, to look up the angelic meaning just to reaffirm that they're with you and they're supporting you. Also, animals, if you see them in twos, I think have a significance to you. Trying to see what else is here. Butterflies seem to be very important to you guys. If you see a butterfly, I think they're just there to remind you that you need to transform your thoughts that you're having, to shift them into more positive ones. And that will get you back on the track of abundance and bringing in this financial gain and support that you're wanting. Definitely balance. There's something about balance. I think it's also accepting the shadow side and the other parts of you as being equally a part of you and important. This is homeland, arrival, a journey ends, establishment, building, settled. So I think it means that don't worry, you are going to eventually get to this place where you're going to feel at peace, comfortable, happy at work, valued, and you're really just going to be able to let go and not be so busy. And I think it's going to come from healing work, healing the shadow side, taking more self-care time. And I know I keep hearing like this, what does this have to do with finances? Well, because finances, if you want to be extremely financially successful, you have to work with the universe to bring it in. Otherwise, your hustle energy is just going to confuse the universe about thinking it can help you. You're just saying, I have to hustle, I have to work really hard, otherwise I won't make it in this world. And it really sends this clashing energy to the universe to just help you bring it in easier and faster and without having to basically burn yourself out, please everyone, and not be true to you and compromise your values and your morals to get there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Compromise card, I'm not sure if I said that, but I do really feel like it's saying to compromise sometimes and take more time to do the self-care work and be okay if you didn't fully finish everything at work, to have balance. It's going to help in the long run with sustaining your energy and your passion and your excitement and that positive energy you want to bring in. I think that might be all I have for you. I've noticed a lot of these readings were a little bit shorter. They're telling me a lot of these messages are going to be a bit overwhelming for people if they are too long, and that a lot of people aren't expecting these kind of readings from a finance reading. So to be gentle and not give huge readings. So I am going to leave it there. Just remember to pay attention to your dreams. Maybe even consider doing some release writing and gratitude journaling, and to let go of the need to have to do it all on your own and hustle, and allow the universe to come in and help you with it. You do have to give them permission to do that. You do have free will, so they can't just come in and do it for you. Okay. Well, I hope that helped. Hope that brought some clarity and hopefully some peace of mind and just a few things to kind of think about and consider. Okay, well, you guys, you have a good day, and I'll see you around.